Warning, this game contains content that might not be suitable for most audiences. Viewers' discretion is advised. Hello everyone and welcome back to Boyfriend to Death 2. Today we're gonna be going down Vincent's route, which is down at Route 66, so hey, let's get right into it, shall we? A crappy pool hall didn't sound like the best place to spend the night, but I was feeling adventurous. I put on some black clothes and examined myself. Maybe that would help from setting out. Who knew? I walked out my apartment and headed downtown. Once I arrived, I headed in. I looked around the pool hall and immediately felt out of place. Despite being careful, I felt myself bumping into some large men and scantily clad women. Oh, excuse me. The small person I bumped into scoffed and zeroed in on me. Ugh, you're excused. Maybe you should watch where you're going. Sorry, it's hard to see you down there. Sorry, didn't mean to, whatever. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Phew. See, that doesn't happen again. He looked annoyed that I was still in his face. What are you looking at? His tone annoyed. He advanced on me. Hey, enough! A deep voice with a heavy southern accent stopped us. Hey, wait, hang on! You look like at least 3, 4, 5 other people I've seen so far. A tall, broad-shouldered man walked over to us. The proud tone of his walk and the way people moved out of his way. It wasn't someone to be messed with in this bar. What are you doing? We can't have you guys fighting in here. Don't need the pigs poking their noses in our business again. Got me? Small man went quiet and shoved me again. Foz. Foz narrowed his eyes at Vincent for a moment and gave up. Fine. You're lucky Vincent is here. I was thankful that he had stood up for me, but he seemed to be uninterested now. Thank you. I could have stood up for myself, say nothing. Thank you. You want to thank me? He spoke in the same gruff tone that he had before, but shifted his gaze back to me. You're gonna want to have to thank me with more than your words. I felt my voice getting caught in my throat. Maybe you can just use your mouth. Vincent leaned over me and I stepped back. I bet you haven't been with a real man like me. Want to taste my penis? I didn't say anything. I could feel my face heating up. Offer stands if you really want to thank me. He leaned away from me and crossed his arms. Look like you got something to say. You just say what you got on your mind. Otherwise, someone like me might mistake it for you gawking. Was I staring? Wasn't even aware. But what wasn't there to stare at? It was large and imposing. People seemed to respect him here. Introduce yourself. Where'd you get those scars from? Back off. I'll introduce myself. Name's Lion. Tried to sound as polite as I could. Don't you think that you should be talking to some other guy here in this bar? As much as you enjoy a look at my face. I'm sure there's a bunch of dudes who'd be happy to get balls deep in you. Vincent seemed unfazed by the rude way he spoke to me. I bit my lip. Maybe I don't want to do that. You came to the wrong bar. Started talking to the wrong guy then. Because I ain't nice. I'm not gonna treat you like some delicate flower. Yeah, I'm a freaking animal. Yeah, I guess I'll go then. What does that mean? I mean, I could throw you down on the table. And screw you in front of all these lovely people. Some of the men at the bar looked over and eyeballed me with a smirk. Vincent started to advance on me and I took a step back. They love taking bets on how long it takes me to sploosh. We could go all night. My back hit a wall and I looked up at him. Please, don't. Vincent grinned and put his hand on the wall next to my head. But I don't really feel like putting on a show for these people tonight. Got priorities to deal with. You understand? He patted me on the face with the other hand and licked his lips. I don't think you have time for that. Vincent pushed off the wall and turned away from me. He was gonna leave me alone? Wait, leave him alone? Wait! You're freaking kidding me, right? What did I just say? I ain't gonna be nice with you. I looked at him, tried to find the words. Vincent paused and looked me over. Almost as if a light went on in his head. You want a one-night stand? Vincent cocked his head to the side with a large smirk across his face. That's not what I said. Vincent put his hand under my chin and pushed my head up, forced me to look up at him. Really? Because that's what I can see all over your face. Maybe I do. Really? He looked at the other guys at the bar. One of them quickly looked away from him. You got more stones than them, Vincent said, pointing at me. I felt my face heat up. You gotta respect someone who asks for what they want. He held out his arm and I wrapped my hand around it. His arm was thick and muscular. It felt like only a moment until we were at his house. So, yeah, we skipped the whole scene with Vincent. If you guys want to see what happened, hey, it's all up on my Patreon. Link to that is in the description below. Anyway, I think we're in this room right now. I woke up the next day with a thick, heavy arm draped around me. I cuddled into Vincent's chest as his hand swept through my hair as he woke up slowly. He looked at the time and rubbed his eye. Better get going. Also, oh my god, Vincent is packing. I leaned away from him and he nodded. You wouldn't want to be caught walking out of here. Vincent smacked my butt hard as I got out of bed. Hey! I could feel a blush creeping up on my face as I put my clothes back on. I looked at the tattered jeans on the ground. Vincent stood up and tossed a pair of sweatpants at me. Take these. I expect them back. I felt my blush grow. You're still blushing around me. Saw you naked already. Yeah, well, I wasn't expecting you want to see me again. Why wouldn't I? I brushed my shirt against his face, trying to swat him away, and he sniffed it. Leave that one with me. I like the way you smell. Fine. Are you buying me a new shirt too? Deal. Vincent tossed me one of his shirts, an old band shirt. You look really cute now. Vincent got out of bed. You have a good day now, darling. Vincent waved at me and I nodded. You too. I reached for a door and I heard Vincent make a sound. Wait! I looked down at my feet and saw something wet and foul-smelling fall out of the closet. It looked like a skull. No. Crap. What's this? My shaky voice came. That was the wrong door. Vincent let out a low growl as he rushed from this spot. It felt like only a moment before he pushed me into the wall. I could feel my head colliding with the brick, a warm, wet trickle of blood down the side of my face. My ears started to ring as I fell to the ground. Vincent walked over to me and sighed. Damn, I really liked it too. Wake up. I felt a swift kick to my ribs as the air pushed out of my lungs. I started to cough uncontrollably as I looked around the room. It looked like a fallout shelter. What's going on? Vincent tossed the knife up and down. His eyes followed it, as if he was thinking about what to say next. He tossed the knife directly at my head. I tried to dodge it, but my arm hitched. I was handcuffed to the radiator. The knife sailed past my face, cutting my cheek and bouncing off the cement near me. Look, kiddo. You saw a little too much. I couldn't just let you walk out of my house. He turned his head away from me and scoffed. Vincent walked over and picked up the knife. He lifted it up to my throat and leaned in. You see, got a little anger issue. Some unresolved inner conflict or some hippy-dippy stuff like that. He pushed the knife up against my throat, the sharp steel cutting lightly into my skin. The adrenaline picked up and my heart started to pound. He pressed it deep and I could feel my blood dripping onto his blade. I thought you could help me solve that. He pulled the blade away and licked the blood off the broadside. I'm not gonna help you, psychopath. What do you want to do to me? Say nothing. What do you want to do to me? Vincent picked his ear and looked at it. Nothing much. You got a problem I gotta deal with soon. He looked at a calendar hanging on the wall. Real soon. And I thought you could help out. He took my free hand and sniffed my wrist. You're warm. I gasped as his nose touched my skin. I wanted to pull away, but he held my arm tight. You'll do just nicely. Vincent turned away from me and walked towards the table, staring at the calendar as he passed it. He picked up something from the table before kneeling in front of me. Let's have some fun together. He walked over and scraped the bottom of my foot with the knife. Don't make me tie you down. It'll be worse. Trust me. All I have left is razor wire. I'm not gonna struggle. Screw that. Vincent walked over to me and flicked the knife between his fingers. He sighed and looked at my toes, playing with them individually. You got cute feet. Ah, thank you. Like, if you want to see more of them, heck, I've got Feet Finder if you I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Vincent looked up from my toes and tapped the knife on them. It'd be a shame if something happened to them. Vincent put the knife between my toes and pushed down. I let out a hiss between my teeth and looked up at him. Vincent wasn't quite pushing, but I could feel how sharp the knife was. Vincent slid the knife down my foot, cutting deep into the skin. He pushed into my flesh and I screamed, throwing my head back. Please, stop! I begged as Vincent stopped cutting me. I could feel the tears running down my face. I can't have you scurrying around in here. Vincent grabbed a handcuff and shook it. I've seen enough people get out of these. Can't have that now. There's a lot of dangerous stuff in here. So, let me cut you up a bit more before, so I don't have to worry about you. My eyes shot open and I looked at him. Despite the grin on his face, I could see a dead seriousness in his eye. Beg? Kick him? I know this isn't dignified for someone like me to beg. I mean, heck, I would beg for him to go ahead, but you know what? I'll beg. Please, stop. I felt a soft sob escape my lips, and Vincent kneeled down to look me in the eye. You want me to stop? He leaned in and sniffed me. I twitched, trying to pull away from him, but he kept my face still. He stuck his tongue out and licked my cheek, wiping my tears away. I'll do that for you, but I still need you to not move around so much. Vincent quickly slashed the underside of my other foot. Let out a loud scream as I felt the blood dripping out of the new wound. I don't trust you enough not to leave the spot. If I don't see your little footprints around my bunker, we might get along. Maybe. Vincent put the knife back in the holster. Vincent turned away as I let out soft sobs. He walked back to his table and started to clean up something. I could feel something churning inside of me and I pushed my legs together. I need to pee. My bladder was doing flips from being hurt, but my nervousness was getting the better of it now. Vincent looked over his shoulder as I let out the sound. What now? I blushed as I looked at him, rubbing my knees together. I need to pee. Vincent tilted his head to the side. Then go. No one's stopping you. I stared at him. I guess in a way, I knew he wouldn't let me just go to the bathroom and use the toilet. I don't want to do it right here. Vincent made a sound out the side of his mouth. Well, I ain't untying you. Piss there or hold it. You know what? I'm gonna agree! I'm gonna whiz all over your goddamn bunker! This is now my bunker! I claim it for myself! Whee! I don't want you to watch. I stammered out. I wanna watch. I won't make fun of you. A blush crept over Vincent's face. Do you like it when I claim your place as my own? I promise. I shifted my legs and he stopped me. Wait. Hold it for a few more seconds. What? Before I could even complete my thoughts, he tucked my bottoms off from around my waist. I let out a small cry as it went over my feet. They still hurt, but the pain was replaced by fear as he flicked open the knife. Oh yeah, my bad. Let me get these off too. He grabbed the hem of my underwear and tore through the fabric. Vincent! I squeaked off as he tossed away the cloth. I just want to get a front row look. It's cute. I tried to clamp my legs together, but I pushed them apart. I don't do it. Vincent growled out between his teeth. He wasn't asking nicely anymore. I closed my eyes as I felt my bladder release. This is one of the reasons why there are so many fictional killers out there who are absolutely afraid of me. God freaking damn it. Vincent grabbed a towel above me and wiped me down, tossing the towel aside. Also, yeah, we did just skip a scene, so hey, if you guys do want to see what happens, y'all know where to go. I ain't gonna tell you again, but anyway. Why? Vincent flicked my forehead. Don't look the gift horse in the mouth. He wiped up the cement out from under me. He tossed a blanket on my head. Go to sleep, brat. He walked off and shut the door behind him. I curled up beneath the blanket, feeling the warmth. I closed my eyes. I felt grateful for the warm cloth around me. I picked up my head. Couldn't sleep. How could someone sleep in this situation? I opened my eyes slowly. I sighed and yanked a handcuff. Come on. Well, I guess I'll pull handcuffs? I pulled the handcuffs around my arm. Seemed pretty loose. Pull. Pull! Pull! It came off! I looked at my arm. It was all cut up and bloody. I held it close to me. He'd noticed that for sure. I got up, but I wobbled. I forgot Vincent cut my foot. I leaned against the wall and used it to stabilize me. Damn it. I cursed softly to myself as I walked towards his workbench. I reached for a towel that was tucked in a corner and gingerly pressed it against my arm for now. I looked at his table. There were a lot of small tools all over the place. Nothing of true value. I sighed and looked at a weapons locker. It had a number combination on it. Wait. Well, I try it? I don't know the code. Better not touch anything. God damn it. He'd probably get really angry. I walked over, back to my handcuff and looked down at it. How was I going to get back into the cuff? I leaned down and played with it. It was little blood. Maybe that would be enough to slip my hand back into the closed ring. I played the ring and pushed my hand back into the handcuff. I let out a soft whimper as I felt my bones slipping past the metal. I sighed and sat back down. I just want this to be over. I closed my eyes and fell back asleep. I woke up the next morning to the door opening. Vincent walked in. Morning, kiddo. He kneeled down. Vincent looked at my arm and I attempted to hide it behind my back. Hey, don't try to hide it, brat. I already saw it. I squeaked as he grabbed my arm and yanked it out from behind me. Ow! He looked at the wound and cocked an eyebrow. Did you get out? Even though I warned you? Vincent pushed his finger into my wound. That's freaking ballsy. I could have come in here at any time, you dumb butt. Vincent nuzzled my face gently. I like that. Let me fix that for you. He slapped my face and got up. Vincent looked at his cabinet and pulled out a bottle. Give me your arm. He demanded. I quickly brought my arm out. Vincent uncapped the bottle. He took a key off his belt and unlocked the cuff. I kept still. With him this close, he could spring over and snap my neck in 1 second. I gulped as he poured down my arm. Ah! I screamed and brought the arm back to myself. Give me your arm back. What is that? Vincent stared at me. He drank a few gulps out of it. Everclear. I scooted back and he inched towards me. Come on, loosen up. He got up and grabbed my nose. I started to panic. My heart raced hard and I opened my mouth to breathe. Ah, there you go, sweetie. Vincent jammed the bottle into my mouth. He let go over my mouth as I choked on the liquid. It felt like it was burning all the way down my throat. My eyes started to water as I choked it back. Vincent took the bottle out of my mouth and slapped his hand over my mouth. Swallow it? I could feel the tears running down my face. It felt like all of my insides were on fire. I swallowed it and immediately regretted it. My head spun as Vincent took his hand off my mouth. You look so cute. I slumped on the floor. I couldn't sit straight without someone holding me up. I threw up on the floor and Vincent tussed. Man, what a waste. Whatever. He pushed his boot into the back of my head and I smelled my own bowel and vomit. I scratched at the floor, but he wouldn't let me up. Lick it? No, please. You heard me. I'll do it. I licked the floor in front of me gently. I didn't want to be hurt by him anymore. Vincent made a low growl as I did and kneeled down. Come here, baby. I crawled over to him and he licked the vomit off my lips. I gasped as his lips came close to mine. I clutched his arm and pressed my lip into his. I could feel his tongue pushing into mine. His kiss was hungry, like he couldn't get enough. I couldn't think anymore. Wanna fuck? Well, that was forward of you. I made a happy sound as he put his arms out. I shifted towards him and let him hold me for a moment. I ran my fingers along his scars as he let out a soft sigh. This is nice. I heard a loud banging on the door. Who's at the door? Also, yes, I did skip a scene, so hey, you all already know what to do. Anyway, Vincent pulled his attention away from me. I looked over with a frown. What is it now? He moved away from me and opened the door to let whoever it was in. Is that the guy from the bar? What do you want? I want to talk to you about them. Vincent's eyes moved from me to Foz. What about them? Let me fight them. What the? No! If they're too weak to beat me, then they won't survive your change. You know that. You play with them too much. You've gone a few full moons without killing someone before going berserk. Why do you care? I want to take care of you. I don't... Fine, screw it. Vincent shoved past Fars and held out a knife for me. You're gonna need it. I'll take the knife. I took the knife from Vincent and looked at the sharp blade. I looked at him. I wasn't sure what I could do right now. I held the knife. I'll defend myself? I picked up the knife and tried to focus on it. I felt a bit dizzy. Fine. I charged at the other guy and took a swing in his direction. I could feel his knee colliding with my stomach. It was stronger than he looked. I started to cough and he laughed, pulling my hair roughly. You can't even stand up. He yanked me hard into the ground, grinding his heel onto my back. He stomped down hard and scoffed. You're so pathetic. He sat down on my back and took the knife out of my hand without resistance. Screw you! He pushed my head into the cement and I could feel my face bounce off the floor. He sat down on my back and twisted his hand into my hair. Vincent's had enough fun with you. It's my turn. Oh! Why do you have to look so cute while doing this? He carved a knife down my back, cutting deep. I let out a scream as he traced the ridges of my spine with the tip of the knife. I struggled as he tapped the bone with the tip of his knife. He pushed the knife into my side and let out a loud scream. The pain shot down my leg and I scratched to get away from him. It was blinding. Stop! I could only scream as he twisted the knife. It made me feel sick. Everything was going dark. Holy crap, boss. You were too weak. What do you mean? Okay, this time I'm gonna attack Vincent. Maybe I can survive now. I got up and gripped the knife. I had to try. I charged at him and he dodged my blade. Whoa! He licked his lips and moved quickly behind me. I wasn't fast enough. I was already hurt. He grabbed my arm and twisted it behind my back, pushing down hard. You know, I was starting to like you a bit. If you're gonna make life hard, Foss was right. You're not worth keeping around. He grabbed the back of my head and pushed me down onto the ground. Sorry, pup. He grabbed my hair and started to smash my head into the concrete floor. Ah, that's my face! The pain radiated through my face as he repeatedly bashed my face into the ground. I could feel all my front teeth break inward. Blood filled up my senses as he dropped me to the ground. Pity. You weren't worth keep. God damn it. Okay, what if I refuse the knife? No. You're kidding, right? He rolled his eyes and looked at Foss. Go ahead. You don't have fight left in him. He stepped out of the way. He stepped over me and put his foot on my knee, pushing it down. I want to kill you. If you're going to just sit there, then they'll make it easier for me. We can work together. Should I have to do this? He snorted loudly and stabbed me. Let out a loud scream and put my hand around his, trying to push him off. He was a lot stronger than he looked. Why would I want to help you? He twisted the knife and leaned in. I let out a low hiss between my teeth as the pain shot through my stomach. I like it more than you. Vincent watched with a grin on his face. He pushed the blade through my stomach, spilling my guts all over the floor. I stared in disbelief at the pile of viscera. I fell on my side and looked up at him. He was breathing fast, and he tucked his hair behind his ear. You were easy. Vincent came up behind him and wrapped his arms around Farz's shoulders. You're still a badass. I watched him nuzzle against Vincent's chin as my vision went black. Oh, no. Okay, apparently you're supposed to click on the table after you pull your hands out of the handcuff. Remember, pull out 3 times, no more, a little bit less. But anyway, let's check out the table. There was something on the table. I moved in that direction to see what I could find. What can I find? I picked up the bag of food and looked at it. It looked like jerky. Did he make this himself? I opened up the bag and sniffed it. Smelled like regular meat. My stomach growled as I took a piece out. I nibbled on it and it tasted great. I shouldn't take too much. I ate the piece I pulled out and put it back where I found it. What can I find? I looked down at the key. He must have left a spare here for safekeeping. He probably didn't count on anyone getting out of the cuffs. I sighed and picked it up. I'd have to hide it. Maybe I could get out of here when he wasn't looking. What can I find? Alright, there's teeth as well. I looked at the table and picked up a tooth. Why would he keep this? I asked myself, then looked back down at the table. The pliers were bloody. Fresh bloody. When was the last time he had someone down here? I touched the pliers and dropped the tooth. I didn't want to know. What can I find? Also, there's one other thing we're supposed to look at, which is the photograph. It's top right corner. It's kind of hard to see. I picked up the picture that was tucked under a box. What's this? I looked at the guys in the pictures and tilted my head to the side. Was he in the army? What? Drop man line brat? Sergio 415-555-8590. I asked to myself as I looked at the back, which was blank. I sighed softly. He used to be a good guy, right? I guess anyone could join the military, though. I bit my lip. Maybe it wasn't the best idea to fight with him. If he had combat experience, he could take me down pretty quickly. I tucked the picture where I found it. What can I find? I think that's everything we could find here. Let's head back. Now what do I do? Let's check the weapons locker. I should check out that weapons locker. Let's see. I'm pretty sure it's 8590. It opened! Let out a happy sound and I opened the locker. Maybe we could find something to kill that sadistic prick with. We could, though. My eyes shot open upon hearing a voice behind me. I slowly turned my head and was immediately met with an icy cold glare. I put up my hands and took a step back. I can explain. You want to explain? Well, I would freaking love to hear it. He looked angry as I pressed my back into the weapons locker. He didn't wait for me to respond as he charged across the room with a knife in his hand. He plunged into my arm and threw me to the ground. I let out a loud shriek as I hit the floor. I gripped the knife in my arm and looked up at him. You want to see a gun, huh? I could hear him taking a gun off the rack as I turned my body. He put his foot on my stomach and pressed all his weight into me. Vincent stared at me for a moment, and I could feel his boot cracking my sternum. Here's a gun for you, you little prick! Vincent growled through his teeth. I stammered and tried to back away. He slung his gun off his shoulder. He cocked it with one loud click as I closed my eyes. All I could hear was the shell leave the chamber. Vincent blew you away! God damn it. Okay, fine. I'll go to sleep. Better not touch anything else. I walked back to the radiator and looked down at the cuff. The key. I unlocked the cuff and locked it around my wrist. I was so glad I didn't have to force it back in. I slipped the key under the radiator within my reach and leaned back. I just wanted this to be over. I closed my eyes and went back to sleep. I woke up the next morning to the door opening. I have a feeling all this is the same, so we're just gonna skip ahead. Alright, we're back here. We took the knife from Vincent. Let's defend ourselves. I won't go down so easy. He leapt at me and Vincent took a step back, his hands up. Vincent was determined to let us just duke it out. He reeled back his arm and punched me in the face. Vincent's mine! He was a lot stronger than he looked. I gripped the knife hard as he grabbed my wrist. He wasn't even talking anymore, just making loud angry sounds. I gripped the knife and cut his hand. He leaned back and smashed his forehead into my nose. I could feel something blossoming from the middle of my face. He was unrelenting. I gripped my knife and stabbed him in the side. He let out an angry sound as he pushed his hands around my neck. I choked and sputtered as I tried to pull the knife through. I dropped the blade as the man fell on top of me. Jesus Christ, the guy wouldn't go down, would he? He grabbed my arm and locked me back on the radiator. Vincent picked him up and looked down at the body. No. He didn't even glance back at me as he left the room. The door shut with a loud hollow bang. I closed my eyes, hoping to shout the image of what I just did. I woke up and looked at the handcuff. I picked up the key from under the radiator and looked at it. I was glad I went looking around that first day. I might have never gotten out of these cuffs. I was too tired today. I locked the cuff. Now I could look around. I'm gonna look at a weapons locker. Might as well see if I could protect myself. I walked over to the weapons locker. Nope, 8590. I punched in the numbers and opened up the locker. I breathed a deep sigh of relief as I grabbed the shotgun off the rack. What was I gonna do with this? I felt a sinking feeling in my stomach. Did I really want to kill him? I heard the door opening and I quickly shut the locker, scrambling back to my spot on the floor. I didn't bother locking my hand this time. Vincent walked into the room and closed the door behind him. I felt the gun behind me and gripped it. Shoot Vincent? Drop weapon? Threaten him? I have a feeling all this will lead to something different. I'll shoot him. I got up and aimed the gun at him. Whoa, wait a second! Vincent said as he looked at the gun, then at me. You don't wanna... I cut him short. I shot straight through his chest and he fell backwards. I smiled and held the gun close. I needed to shoot him in the head now. It wouldn't be too darn hard if he was down. I walked over and aimed the shotgun at his face, but before I could pull the trigger, he grabbed the barrel and yanked it away. He bashed the butt of the shotgun into my nose and snarled loudly. What did I just say? He stood over to me and growled as he pulled the pellets off his chest. He stomped my leg and I heard it crack underneath his boot. I let out a scream as he started to dig in his chest. He flicked some metal pieces away and leaned down and grabbed my hair. Birdshot ain't gonna kill me. I'm not human. He picked up the shotgun and shot into my other leg. I could feel the pellets tearing through my skin and flesh. I let out another scream as Vincent put the tip of his boot into my mouth. Plus, it's for torturing stupid fricks like you. Target practice. I tried to scream, but he brought his foot down onto my jaw. He narrowed his eye and stepped down hard. I could feel his boot cracking my jaw, then my throat. You couldn't kill him. God damn it. Okay, what if I threaten him? I aimed the gun at him. Whoa, wait a second! Drop it! I could feel myself shaky as I lowered the weapon. Vincent grabbed the barrel. You freaking idiot. You really think I would fill this with something that could kill me? Vincent yanked the gun from my hand and rammed the stock into my chest. I felt the air leave my lungs as I started to cough and stumble. He aimed the gun at my leg and fired. I felt pellets rip through my legs and I let out a loud scream as I fell to the ground. It's freaking birdshot. For teaching guys like you will listen. Vincent pushed his boot into the wound and I whimpered in pain. He dug his heel in and cocked his head to the side. Open your mouth. I choked out, but he wasn't interested in my apology. Open your mouth! I complied and opened my mouth for him. He smirked and shoved the barrel of it into my mouth. I could feel the steel in my throat as he started to rub it in and out. Suck on it, like your life depends on it. He cocked the gun and shoved me onto the ground. 'Cause it does. I started to gag as the hard tip entered my throat. Vincent watched me, unwavering, as I started to lick the underside of the barrel. I let out a hard choking sound as he pushed his boot into my wound again. Tears started to run down my face as I tried to breathe. It was too much. The taste of gunpowder, his heavy boot in my wound. I threw up into the gun, and he laughed loudly. Is that all you got? He growled in a low tone and put his finger over the trigger. Pathetic. I could see him pulling the trigger and the pellets entered into the back of my throat. I coughed up blood and lay to the side. Too bad. I'm starting to like you. And I gave up my gun. God damn it. Okay, what if I just drop my weapon? I looked at the gun and held it out for him to take. You freaking idiot. You really think I would fill this with something you could kill me with? Vincent yanked the gun from my hand and tossed it away. Why did you do that? God damn it. He grumbled to himself. He seemed agitated and confused. I opened my mouth to speak, but he put his hand up. Don't say a goddamn freaking thing to me right now. Vincent looked at a weapons locker and put his hand on the open door. How'd you know the code? Put it out in the open. Duh. He seemed to be talking to himself. What should I do? I got up quietly and put my hand on his back. He stiffened as I felt his skin. Don't. He warned, but I didn't listen. I'm sorry. I said as I ran down my hand down his muscular back. He stood perfectly still, listening. It takes some serious balls to aim a gun at your captor. You don't know what I could have done to you. Vincent spoke in a slow, thoughtful manner. He was thinking about what he was going to do with me. I shuffled around him and looked at his face. I'm sorry. I'll do whatever you want. Please. He looked to the side and hissed out of his mouth. You can't just do whatever you want, he said as I rubbed my head under his chin. He let out a low growl, but he seemed to be happy. I know that. I just wanted to get away from me. I paused and looked at the gun. The gun didn't make me free. I looked up at him and pawed at his chest. I don't want to get away. Tell me what I can do to make it up for you. He gripped my hair and forced me to my knees. He shoved his crotch in my face. Ah, god damn it. Don't try that again. Also, yeah, we did skip something, so if you guys want to see that, link to that is in the description. Y'all know. It's on Patreon. Vincent said, pointing at the gun. I grabbed his leg and rubbed my head on his knees. I won't, I said happily as he reached down to pat the top of my head. He didn't seem angry anymore. I was glad. He let me go as I shuffled back to the wall. He locked up his weapon locker again, this time with a padlock. I wasn't going to try it, but I could see his concern. Go to sleep, pup. Vincent patted my head again as he passed by. I closed my eyes and leaned against the wall. I heard the door open and I looked up. Vincent wandered into the bunker. Vincent looked frustrated and he kneeled down and unlocked me from my cuff. What are you doing? Can a guy unlock you without the 20 questions? I flinched at his loud tone and he stiffened. I can't control my anger when it's this close. He paused, his eyes shifting around, looking for the words. Vincent bit back what he was going to say and didn't complete his thought. What's close? Maybe if I asked myself, he'd respond. Full moon. He let out a low animalistic growl as he sat down next to me with a soft thud. Vincent looked at me and bit back his words again. What's wrong? I tried to sound strong, but my words came out a stutter anyway. Freaking hell. The 20 questions. Vincent's aggressive tone didn't hide anything from me. You look like a hurt animal, lashing out at people who were trying to help you. Vincent sealed his lips tight. He knew I was right. Alright, smart butt. Vincent let out a heavy sigh. I wanted to say sorry. His low, angry tone turned soft and dark. For this, Vincent motioned my direction, his eyes pausing at every cut, every part of me that was out of place, any part that was cut or bloody, or broken. And in the end, he was the one that did this to me. He was the one that put me here. He hurt me. I forgive him. Maybe I was crazy, but it's okay. I forgive you. He tucked his face in his arms. Oh, he sounded dejected. What were you expecting? I don't know. Maybe you screaming at me? Telling me to screw myself? Screw off, Vince. You're the one who's screwing. You're the one who's freaking put me in here. Vincent tried to imitate my voice. Or he did a poor job of it. I stifled a laugh. Laugh it up, pup. You're not going to laugh very long. Not after. He stopped himself and bit his bottom lip. Vincent put his head down on his arms. And dancing around the point, I reached out and started to stroke his hair. It looked like it would be rough. His soft hair slipped through my fingers like silk. I ran my hands through his hair, patting him lightly. Hopefully he won't be angry. My hands weren't the cleanest things. Vincent leaned into my touch, letting out a low sound of pleasure. I kept my hand on his head and felt something growing under my hand. Your ears! What? He swatted my hand away and put his hands on the top of his head, feeling for himself. God damn it. Want to touch them? No, screw off! Catch his tail, pat his ears anyway. Oh, catch his tail? I grabbed his tail and his ears, and shoulders shot straight up. Hey, careful! He curled his tail around himself and looked down. What's wrong? There's a reason why I brought you here. I looked at my injuries. Told you I don't care. So what about it? When I turned into a werewolf, I snorted. What was he talking? He's clearly turning in front of you, fam. What do you mean? You're kidding, right? Vincent looked at me deadpan. He just pointed at his ears and I put up my hands. Point taken. I go after one person. The first person I see usually. Vincent gripped his hands and looked at them. I learned to lock myself down here so I don't go looking around anymore. That's why you're here. Why take someone down here though? Can't you let me go? You can't control yourself? Why take someone down here though? Why can't you just lock yourself up down here? It's a bloodlust. If I don't get a fair amount, then well. Have you heard of the Southside Cabin Massacre? I rubbed my chin. I think I heard about that on the news. A few years back, they said a pack of wolves murdered 16 people. That was me. What? I went a year without killing someone. Well, on my full moon nights. I looked at him, narrowing my eyes. Look, I'm not very good at self-control. You can say that again. But it's what happens when I try to be conservative with my murdering. People still need their butt beat, alright? You try and convince me or yourself. You punched me in the arm and I rubbed it. Ow! Don't be a baby. You don't hit that hard. Yeah, you do. Vincent sighed and leaned against the wall. No one wants to hear me talk about my life. It's terrible, and we all know it. He stood up and dusted off his jeans. You're not going to be around much longer at any rate. I'm sorry. He sounded upset. Vincent turned towards the door. I didn't want him to leave me alone in here. I'll catch him. You don't have to be alone. You don't have to be alone. I have to be alone, Vincent said, turning his back to me. He pulled a black leather collar out of his pocket and gripped it hard. Made it pretty clear that I can't take care of anything or anyone, he said, throwing it into the wall, bouncing off the wall with a hollow sound and hit the floor. He stared blankly down at it. Not even myself, he said as he reached for the door. I jumped up and grabbed his arm, stopping him from opening the latch. Stop! Please, stop, I begged as I grabbed his arm. I don't want you to leave. Vincent pulled his hand back as if he was going to backhand me, but stopped. I didn't flinch. He reached down and put his hand on my cheek. Don't look at me like that. You're gonna make me change your mind. Sounds like you already have. He kneeled down in front of me and wrapped his arms around my waist. He buried his face into my stomach and let out a soft sound. I put my hand on his head and ran my fingers through his hair. Stop. Be nice to me. I don't deserve it. I'll be firm. Be gentle. I'll be gentle. I put my hands on his shoulders and push his arms open. You do. I'm not the one that's being broken here, I said, leaning forward and hugging him hard. You're too hard on yourself. He wrapped his arms around me and squeezed. He held me tightly. There was a gentle hesitance in his embrace, making sure that I wouldn't squeeze too roughly. He held on, like he'd never see me again. I'm always hard on myself, he muttered into my shoulder. He pulled back slightly and I leaned in. He met me halfway and kissed my lips. His hands were shaky and he pulled away. What time is it? Vincent got up and held his head. No. Ah! Vincent growled and looked away quickly. Vincent, what's wrong? He put his hand on his weapons locker and punched in the code. Frick! He growled as he pulled down a rack of guns. He banged loudly on the floor and I looked up at him. Ah! I started, but he grabbed my throat. Shut up! He growled quickly and jammed me into the locker, shutting it behind him. I grabbed the grate, looking at him. What are you doing? I'm saving you, he growled with his head down. You're the only one worth saving. I love you. He grabbed the fencing between me and him. Back up! He banged on the doors. I reached out for him as he let out a growl. He scratched my arm and I took my hand back. Ah! Wasn't too bad. I was feeling a bit dizzy now. I sat down on the bottom of the locker as he paced around. He let out an ear-splitting howl as I held on tight for the rest of the night. He survived. Vincent's safety. Frick! That one night felt like an eternity. I heard the door of the locker open and stared at Vincent's naked body. Are you okay? Oh my god! My mind snapped back to his face as I nodded quickly. Yeah, I'm fine. What about you? Vincent scoffed and headed towards the door. I'm always a little tired of the transformation. I looked back at my hand and cradled it. You scratched me. Vincent held my hand gently. I guess we'll be hunting together next full moon. What do you mean by that? He opened the door to the bunker, and the sun flooded into the room. I've never had a packmate before. Vincent turned to you. Anyway, that was Boyfriend to Death 2. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to see more, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I will be covering Lawrence and Ren's route soon enough, so hey, stay tuned for that. But anyway, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of the day, and as always, I'll be seeing you in the next video. This is Lion, signing off. Ciao.